What if 5 habits millions of adults over 70 follow every day? Habits they believe are keeping them healthy are actually accelerating muscle loss, disrupting sleep, and increasing their risk of falls. And that the advice telling them to do these things comes from studies done on people in their 30s and 40s? Your body at 72 is not your body at 42. The protein synthesis pathways have changed. Your circadian rhythm has shifted. And the eating patterns that kept you lean at 50 may now be quietly dismantling the systems that keep you independent. Before you plan tomorrow's meals, before you skip another breakfast, before you follow one more piece of generic health advice never tested on someone your age, you need to know what I am going to tell you. Because the research on this is so clear and so consistently ignored that it has fundamentally changed how I counsel every patient over 70. My name is Dr. Sarah Envem. I have spent 16 years in geriatric medicine and metabolic health, working specifically with adults over 60 who want to maintain independence, strength, and cognitive function. About 8 years ago, I started noticing a pattern. Patients complaining of weakness, unintentional weight loss, poor sleep, and balance problems often had one thing in common. They were following eating patterns recommended by well-meaning sources, but those patterns were based on research done on younger populations. When I asked them to change when and how they ate, not what they ate, the transformations were often dramatic. This video contains no products. I am not selling you anything. What I share is grounded in research from the Journal of Nutrition, Age and Aging, the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition and Cell Metabolism. Where evidence is strong, I will tell you. Where findings are emerging, I will say so. You deserve information actually tested on people your age, not extrapolated from college athletes. Here's what is happening in your body right now. After age 70, your ability to build and maintain muscle protein synthesis becomes significantly less efficient. This is about independence. Muscle mass determines whether you can get up from a chair without help, recover from a fall, carry groceries, stay in your own home. Research in the Journal of Nutrition has documented that older adults require more protein per meal to stimulate the same muscle response younger adults get from smaller amounts. But here's the critical part. This has a threshold. If you do not hit that threshold at each meal, the protein does very little to maintain muscle. And if you go too long between feedings, your body shifts into a catabolic state, breaking down muscle faster than it rebuilds it. Studies in cell metabolism found that older adults show blunted metabolic responses to evening meals compared to morning meals. Your body becomes less efficient at processing glucose and utilizing protein for muscle synthesis as the day progresses. The same meal at 8 a.m. produces better muscle maintenance than at 8 p.m. This is chronobiology. Research in sleep medicine reviews documented that older adults spend less time in deep sleep and are more vulnerable to disruption from late eating. When you eat within 3 hours of bedtime, your body is digesting when it should be in deep restorative sleep. The consequence is poor sleep, increased inflammation, impaired cognitive function, and accelerated muscle loss. Intermittent fasting may benefit younger adults, but research in Age and Aging suggests extended fasting in older adults is associated with increased muscle loss and frailty risk. When you skip breakfast or go 16 hours without eating, your body starts breaking down muscle for energy. Have you noticed you feel weaker in the afternoon or evening? Do you struggle to get out of a chair without using your hands? Do you wake unrested despite sleeping 7 or 8 hours? Type yes in the comments if any sounds familiar. These are not inevitable symptoms of aging. They are symptoms of eating patterns working against your body's needs. Here's what accumulates silently. Sarcopenia accelerates. Fall risk increases. Now, metabolic health deteriorates. Sleep worsens. Poor sleep leads to worse glucose regulation, which leads to more muscle loss, which leads to less activity, which leads to faster decline. This is gradual, exactly why people never connect their eating patterns to how they feel. I want to tell you about Barbara. She is 74, a retired postal worker from Colorado. She came to me after a year of progressive weakness and unexplained weight loss. 15 pounds lost, trouble climbing stairs, 2 falls in 6 months. Her doctor ran extensive testing. Thyroid, normal. Vitamins, adequate. Cancer screening, negative. She was told this was probably aging and to make sure you're eating enough protein. When Barbara came to me, I asked one question nobody else had. Walk me through exactly when and what you eat on a typical day. She had been doing intermittent fasting for 2 years, skipping breakfast, small lunch at 1 p.m., main meal at 7 p.m. She was consuming adequate total protein, but almost all concentrated in that evening meal. I explained her body could not utilize 50 or 60 grams of protein in one sitting. Research shows the threshold for older adults is 25 to 40 grams per meal. I asked her to shift to 3 meals daily, protein-rich breakfast within 90 minutes of waking, meals spaced no more than 5 hours apart, dinner by 6 p.m. 6 weeks later, Barbara looked visibly stronger. She had regained 4 pounds. Afternoon weakness was gone. She was climbing stairs without the railing. She said, I thought my body was breaking down. I didn't realize I was starving it when it needed food most. This was not a miracle. This was her body responding to better conditions. Conditions she had simply never been given the information to create. Before I tell you what to do, here are 5 patterns working against your health after 70. After 8 to 10 hours overnight fasting, your muscle is catabolic, breaking down protein for energy. Research in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found consuming protein within 2 hours of waking maximizes muscle synthesis in older adults. Delaying breakfast extends this catabolic window and wastes the morning, when your body is most responsive to protein. Research in cell metabolism demonstrated muscle protein synthesis from protein intake is significantly lower in evening versus morning in older adults. Your body does not build muscle as efficiently from evening protein. Large evening meals also disrupt sleep architecture. Studies in the Journal of Nutrition found older adults need more frequent protein stimulation to maintain muscle. When you go 7 or 8 hours between feedings, you create catabolic windows where breakdown exceeds synthesis. Research in sleep medicine reviews links late eating in older adults to poorer sleep quality, more nighttime awakenings, and less deep sleep. When digesting food, your core temperature stays elevated, interfering with the natural temperature drop needed for deep sleep. Research established older adults need 25 to 40 grams of high-quality protein per meal to stimulate muscle synthesis. Like eating 15 grams 3 times daily might give you 45 grams total, technically adequate, but functionally useless because you never hit the per meal threshold. I know what you are thinking. I have done this my whole life. If it was a problem, wouldn't I know? Here's why you would not. Muscle loss after 70 is gradual, 3 to 8% per decade if not actively working against it. You adapt to feeling weaker. You attribute it to age. You do not connect skipping breakfast to not being able to get out of a chair 5 years later. The damage is silent, cumulative, and blamed on just getting older when much is actually eating wrong for this life stage. But there are specific research-backed changes that can reverse much of this decline. And they do not require eating more, just differently. The solution is nutrient timing, restructuring when you eat, how much protein you consume at each meal, and how you distribute meals across the day to match your body's changing chronobiological and metabolic needs after 70. This is not a diet. This is not about restricting calories. This is about giving your body protein when it can actually use it for muscle maintenance, stable energy, and restorative sleep. A study in the Journal of Nutrition found older adults who consumed protein in 3 evenly spaced meals with at least 25 grams per meal showed significantly better muscle synthesis over 24 hours compared to those consuming the same total protein skewed toward one meal. Here is what happens biologically when you time meals correctly. First, you provide regular stimulation to the mTOR pathway, the primary signaling mechanism for muscle synthesis, at intervals preventing breakdown. Second, you align nutrient intake with circadian rhythm, so your body processes morning and midday meals more efficiently. Third, you give your digestive system time to finish before sleep, allowing deep restorative phases without metabolic interference. The scope: nutrient timing will not reverse advanced sarcopenia or eliminate the need for exercise, but research suggests optimizing meal timing can reduce muscle loss by 30 to 50% in older adults and improve functional strength measures. The findings are strong enough, this should be standard guidance for every adult over 70. Yet most doctors never discuss it, but this is only the first layer. Yet what I am about to show you next multiplies every benefit I just described and requires no additional food, no supplements, and no extra cost. I want to tell you about Robert. He is 76, a retired engineer from Wisconsin. He came 8 months after his wife broke her hip in a fall. Robert was terrified the same would happen to him. He noticed his legs felt unsteady. He was holding furniture when walking through the house. He had not told his children because he did not want them to worry. He would lie awake thinking about how quickly his wife's life changed after that fall. The lost independence, the pain. He said, "I look at myself in the mirror and don't recognize my legs anymore. I used to be strong. Now I feel like a strong wind could knock me over." When I evaluated Robert, his muscle mass was low, grip strength weak, gait slow. When I asked about eating patterns, he had been following 16 to 8 intermittent fasting for 3 years. Not eating until noon, finishing by 8 p.m. He was proud of his discipline. He thought he was doing the right thing. I explained intermittent fasting, while potentially beneficial for younger adults, was likely contributing to his muscle loss and weakness. I walked through the research. I asked him to shift to 3 meals. Breakfast at 7:30 a.m. with 30 grams protein, lunch at 12:30 p.m. with 30 grams, dinner at 5:30 p.m. with 30 grams, plus simple resistance exercise twice weekly. 8 weeks later, Robert's grip strength had improved measurably. He felt more stable on his feet, but more importantly, the fear was gone. He told me, "I feel like I got my legs back. I didn't realize how much strength I'd given away just by eating wrong." He said, I thought my body was done. Turns out I just wasn't feeding it on its schedule." Let me walk you through the complete nutrient timing protocol I recommend to every patient over 70 who wants to maintain muscle, energy, and independence. This breaks the overnight catabolic fast and provides muscles with amino acids when most responsive. Research shows morning protein has the highest anabolic potential in older adults. If you wake at 6 a.m., eat by 7:30 a.m. at the latest. This is the threshold dose needed to activate muscle synthesis in older adults. High-quality protein means complete proteins with adequate leucine. Eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, lean meat, fish, or combinations. 3 eggs plus 1 cup Greek yogurt gives approximately 35 grams. If breakfast is 7:30 a.m., lunch should be 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. This prevents prolonged catabolic windows while giving your body time to process the previous meal. Lunch should also contain 25 to 40 grams protein. If lunch is 12:30 p.m., dinner should be 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. If you sleep at 9 p.m., finish dinner by 6 p.m. This ensures complete digestion before sleep. Dinner should contain 25 to 40 grams protein, but does not need to be your largest meal. Some older adults need more frequent feeding. If you need a fourth meal, place it between lunch and dinner, around 3 p.m. Protein shake, hard-boiled egg with cheese, or Greek yogurt with nuts. Never add late evening snacking. Helen, 71, started this protocol enthusiastically. She moved breakfast earlier, calculated protein targets, spaced meals correctly, but she kept drinking wine with dinner at 7 p.m., eating cheese and crackers at 8 p.m. Within 2 weeks, she was not sleeping well or feeling stronger. When I saw her schedule and explained the protocol only works finishing eating by 6 p.m., no exceptions, she eliminated late snacking and moved dinner to 5:30 p.m. 2 weeks later, "Now I get it. My sleep is completely different and I actually feel stronger in the mornings. $0 additional dollars if you already buy groceries. If adding protein sources, eggs, Greek yogurt, chicken, tuna, perhaps an extra $10 to $20 weekly. No supplements required, just regular groceries timed correctly. People calculate 90 grams daily, then eat 15 at breakfast, 20 at lunch, 55 at dinner. Research shows this produces far worse muscle outcomes than 30 grams at each meal. The consequence? You think you are doing everything right, but muscles are not getting the per meal stimulus needed. 30 grams 3 times beats 90 grams once. This is the most common compromise. They shift breakfast earlier, increase protein, but cannot bring themselves to eat dinner at 5:30 p.m. The consequence? Some benefit from better morning eating, but you lose sleep quality improvements and full metabolic advantage. Experiment with 5:30 or 6 p.m. dinner for 2 weeks. Most adapt quickly, and the sleep improvement alone makes it worthwhile. Going from intermittent fasting and one large evening meal to 3 timed meals with specific protein targets, all starting tomorrow, is overwhelming. Most make it 3 days before reverting. Introduce one change per week. Week 1, add protein-rich breakfast. Week 2, adjust lunch timing and protein. Week 3, move dinner earlier. Week 4, full protocol. By 4 weeks, it feels natural. Look at your typical eating schedule and identify which of the 5 harmful patterns you follow. Write them down. Decide which single meal you will change first. I recommend breakfast. Set a daily alarm for 90 minutes after your wake time. When it goes off, eat breakfast with at least 25 grams protein. Track for 7 days. Buy protein sources needed: eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, deli meat, or protein powder. Budget approximately $15 to $25 weekly if adding new sources. Follow the 5-step protocol daily. Breakfast within 90 minutes of waking with 25 to 40 grams protein. Lunch 4 to 5 hours later with 25 to 40 grams protein. Dinner 4 to 5 hours after lunch with 25 to 40 grams protein. Finish eating at least 3 hours before bed. Track 3 things each morning for 30 days. 1. Rate your energy level 1 to 10 when waking. Hack 2. Test getting up from a chair without using hands. Note if it feels easier over time. 3. Assess sleep quality. Did you wake during the night? After 30 days, come back to comments and tell me what changed. I will be reading every comment. I want to say something directly before you go. If you have been told that weakness, fatigue, poor sleep, or feeling unsteady are just part of getting older, hold that story more loosely. Some of what we accept as inevitable decline is actually habitual, and habitual problems have habitual solutions. Your body at 70 is different from your body at 40, and that is not failure. That is biology. But different does not mean broken. It means your body has different needs now, different rhythms, different timing requirements. When you eat 3 meals at 42, your body might handle any pattern. And when you eat 3 meals at 72, timing matters, distribution matters, alignment with circadian biology matters. These are the difference between maintaining independence and losing it. I need to be clear about scope. Nutrient timing will not cure sarcopenia if you are sedentary. It will not eliminate the need for medical treatment. It will not reverse decades of muscle loss overnight. But research shows optimizing when you eat can meaningfully slow muscle loss, improve functional strength, enhance sleep quality, and support metabolic health in adults over 70. That is the difference between staying in your home and needing assistance. Between recovering from a fall and not recovering. Before you go, think of one person in your life, not everyone, just one person, who is over 70 and struggling with weakness, fatigue, poor sleep, or fear of falling. Someone who might be following intermittent fasting advice or skipping breakfast or eating one big meal at night because they think that is healthier. Share this video with them. One click. That is all it takes to give someone information that could change their trajectory. If you found this helpful, subscribe. Every week, I bring evidence-based health strategies designed specifically for adults over 60, not generic advice from younger populations, but research actually done on people your age, translated into protocols you can implement immediately. Before you leave, answer in the comments. Which of the 5 patterns do you currently follow? And which one are you going to change first? I read every comment personally because your independence and strength matter to me, not as numbers on a screen, but as real lives with real stakes. Your body has not given up on you. It is working with everything it has right now. Give it the conditions, the timing, the rhythm, the nutrient patterns. It needs to do that work well, starting with something as simple and as powerful as eating breakfast at the right time with the right amount of protein. 1. Senior eating protein-rich breakfast at well-lit table, eggs, yogurt visible. 2. Clock showing 7:30 a.m. transitioning to breakfast plate 3. Side by side, Small lunch versus large dinner. Visual representation. 4. Senior getting up from chair without using hands. Functional strength. 5. Split screen. Restful sleep versus restless sleep. Illustrated. 6. Close-up of protein-rich foods with on-screen gram measurements. 7. Timeline graphic showing 7 a.m./12 p.m./5 p.m. meal schedule. 1. Yon 25 to 40 grams protein per meal equals muscle synthesis threshold for adults 70 plus. 2. Morning protein leads to 3 times more effective than evening protein for muscle. 3. Finish eating 3+ hours before bed for optimal sleep. 4. 4 to 5 hour spacing between meals prevents muscle breakdown. Split image. Left shows common, healthy habits. Intermittent fasting clock, late dinner plate, single large meal with red X. Right shows Dr. Sarah Envem with concerned but caring expression. Bold text. Don't do this after 70 on left. Do this instead with arrow pointing right. Yellow/orange warning colors for don't side. Green/blue reassuring for do side. Age 70 plus clearly visible. Concerned but professional expression. This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Consult your physician before making changes to your health routine, particularly if you have diabetes, kidney disease, or other conditions affecting dietary protein intake.